The gleaming walls of the Vanguard Council chamber pulsed with bioluminescent patterns as High Observer Kelrax reviewed the latest survey data. The massive amphitheater, carved from living crystal, housed representatives of the galaxy's most advanced species. Each had proven their worth through millennia of controlled evolution and technological advancement. Each had earned their place through careful adherence to the Vanguard's guidance. Another primitive world, Kelrax announced, his crystalline form refracting light as he gestured to the holographic display. Designation: Earth. Species: human. Notable characteristics: carbon-based, bilateral symmetry, concerning levels of adaptive variation. The assembled council members chittered and hummed in dismissal. They'd seen countless such worlds in their 10,000 years of stewardship. Observer Merrick's, her serpentine form coiled in her gravity chair, flicked a manipulator dismissively. Their technology level: early space flight capability, primitive fission and fusion understanding, no faster than light travel. Kelrax paused, his crystalline surface rippling with concern. However, their development rate is concerning. They've progressed from atmospheric flight to lunar landing in under a century. Unstable progress leads to unstable species, pronounced Elder Vex, their energy form flickering with certainty. They must be contained before they destabilize the sector. The pattern is clear. None questioned this assessment. The Vanguard had guided countless species to enlightenment, and they had seen the dangers of unchecked advancement. Better to guide species slowly, carefully, than risk the chaos of rapid evolution. None of them noticed the small drone that had recorded their deliberations, its adaptive camouflage perfectly mimicking the chamber's crystalline walls. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the EFSO's Horizon, Earth's first deep space exploration vessel, watching the stars streak by. The ship represented humanity's greatest achievement, a fusion-powered craft capable of reaching 1/10 light speed. To the crew, it was humanity's proud first step into the galaxy. To the Vanguard, it was barely worth noting. Contact. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cut through her contemplation. Multiple objects dropping out of FTL, bearing 030. Chen's training kicked in instantly. Full sensor sweep. Time to intercept: 3 minutes. They're massive, Captain. Largest contact is 15 kilometers in length. The tactical display showed 5 ships, each one dwarfing the horizon. Their hulls seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, defying human engineering principles. Chen felt a chill as she realized they were watching first contact unfold. "Open all frequencies, standard greeting package ready," she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Humanity had prepared for this, had trained for it, had dreamed of it. The response came as a blast of energy that nearly overloaded their sensors. Evasive action. Chen grabbed her command chair as the Horizon lurched hard to port. The energy beam passed through their previous position, turning a nearby asteroid to plasma. Status: no damage. They missed. Rodriguez reported, disbelief in his voice. "But Captain, their weapons are charging again." Chen's mind raced. The Horizon wasn't built for combat. It was an exploration vessel, but they trained for emergency scenarios, had run countless simulations. Plot their fire control patterns. Show me their firing solutions. The tactical display updated, showing predicted weapon trajectories. Chen's eyes narrowed as she spotted something. The alien ships, despite their advanced technology, fired in rigid mathematical patterns. Predictable patterns. Helm: plot course 090, then execute pattern break delta on my mark. It was a maneuver they'd developed for asteroid fields, using minimal thrust to achieve maximum course change. Engineering: redline the fusion drive. Give me everything. The alien ships fired again, their energy weapons cutting through space in perfect, calculated arcs. Arcs that assumed their target would behave according to standard physics models. Mark. The Horizon's fusion drive screamed as it pushed the ship into a maneuver that strained both hull and crew. Instead of trying to outrun the alien weapons, they curved around them, using the energy beam's own paths as cover from subsequent shots. They're confused, Rodriguez reported, watching the sensor returns. Their formation is breaking up. They're trying to reposition. Chen allowed herself a tight smile. The alien ships, for all their size and power, moved like oil tankers compared to the Horizon's fighter jet agility. Plot their blind spots. Use their size against them. For 10 minutes, the Horizon danced between giants, using moves developed for Zerog sports and emergency asteroid avoidance. The alien ships, bound by their own technological sophistication, couldn't match the human vessel's improvised maneuvers. Finally, a new signal cut through their comms. The universal translator struggled for a moment before resolving into words. Cease movement, primitive vessel. You will submit to containment for the good of galactic stability. Chen exchanged looks with her bridge crew. Each face showed the same determination she felt. Send response, tight beam. With respect, we decline. Humanity charts its own course. They're powering up some kind of drive system, Rodriguez reported. Energy readings are off the charts. Get us out of here, maximum speed. Send everything we have back to Earth. Chen watched as the alien ships distorted space around themselves, preparing to jump to FTL. They need to know what's coming. The Horizon's databases transmitted their entire encounter, sensor readings, tactical data, communications, in a tight beam burst toward Earth. Moments later, the alien ships vanished in flashes of twisted space, leaving behind only scattered radiation and a changed universe. Back in the Vanguard Council chamber, Kelrax reviewed the encounter data with growing concern. The primitive vessel had evaded their containment fleet through what could only be described as illogical maneuvers. No species at their development level should have been able to achieve such results. The humans must be contained, Elder Vex declared. Their unpredictability makes them dangerous. They do not follow proper development patterns. Kelrax gestured, bringing up the sensor readings from the encounter. They adapted their primitive vessel's capabilities beyond our tactical predictions. They used our own weapons' energy patterns for shield coverage. This suggests they cannot be allowed to develop further, Merrick's interrupted. Send the containment fleets. All of them. The pattern must be maintained. As the council erupted in discussion, the hidden drone continued its silent observation. In a secure facility on Earth, Dr. Marcus Webb watched the feed with growing excitement. The Vanguard's technological superiority was impressive, yes, but their tactical rigidity, that was something humanity could work with. He turned to the holographic display showing the early designs for Project Prometheus. The Vanguard thought humanity primitive for relying on biological systems alongside mechanical ones. They were about to learn why that made humanity not weaker, but infinitely more adaptable. Begin Phase 2, he ordered. And get me Captain Chen. She just proved our theory about hybrid tactics. We're going to need her experience for what comes next. Across Earth, shipyards that had been building exploration vessels began retooling for a different purpose. The Vanguard sought to contain humanity's growth, not realizing they had just guaranteed it. In trying to clip humanity's wings, they had instead forced them to learn to soar. The price of underestimating humanity was about to become very clear indeed. Dr. Marcus Webb stood in Earth's deepest underground facility, watching as robots wove carbon nanotubes around living neural tissue. The sight would have horrified the Vanguard. The merging of organic and synthetic systems violated their principles of pure technological advancement. That was precisely why it would work. Show me the latest integration test results, he called out. The holographic display shifted, showing streams of data from Project Prometheus. 3 months had passed since the Horizon incident, and humanity had not wasted a single day. Neural linkage holding steady at 98.6% compatibility, reported Dr. Sarah Chen, the captain's sister and the project's lead neuroscientist. The biological components are accepting the synthetic enhancements better than predicted. almost as if they were meant to work together. Webb finished. The vanguard separated biological and technological evolution. We're proving that was their biggest mistake. Above them, through kilometers of rock and stealth shielding, the vanguard blockade tightened around Earth. Their massive ships hung in orbit like artificial moons, a constant reminder of humanity's supposed containment. They monitored all conventional radio frequencies, watched for any sign of traditional space launch technology. They weren't looking for what humanity was actually building. In a training pod designed to mimic a ship's bridge, Captain Chen interfaced with the prototype neural system. Her consciousness expanded, merging with the ship's artificial intelligence in ways the vanguard would have considered impossible. Neural handshake complete, the AI announced, its voice resonating not through her ears, but directly through her mind. All systems integrated. Welcome aboard, Captain. Chen moved her hand, and the entire ship responded as if it were her own body. The neural interface translated her natural human instincts and reactions into ship movements with zero lag time. No computer delays, no manual controls, just pure human intuition enhanced by machine precision. Show me what we can do, she thought. The simulation sprang to life. A dozen vanguard ships appeared, their energy weapons charging in their characteristic patterns. In a conventional ship, evading their fire would require complex calculations and perfect timing. Chen simply danced. The prototype ship moved like a living thing, anticipating attacks before they came, flowing around energy beams as naturally as a swimmer moving through water. The AI handled the complex physics calculations while Chen provided the unpredictable, creative element that the vanguard could never program into their ships. Remarkable. Webb's voice cut through the simulation. You're exceeding our best projected performance metrics by 40%. Chen opened her eyes as the simulation faded. It feels natural. Like the ship is an extension of my body. How soon until we can implement this in actual vessels? The first prototype is already under construction. But there's more. Webb gestured, and new schematics appeared. We're not just building ships. We're redefining what a ship can be. In orbital shipyards visible to the vanguard blockade, humanity made a show of building conventional spacecraft, primitive vessels that posed no threat. The aliens watched these decoy projects with smug superiority, never suspecting what grew beneath their feet. 2 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, the real work continued. The construction bay stretched for miles, its walls lined with synthetic organisms that grew ship components more than built them. Here, biology and technology merged in ways that defied conventional engineering. Hull integrity at 99%, reported the facility's eye. Organic synthetic fusion matrices operating at optimal levels. Webb walked along a catwalk, studying the massive shape taking form below. Unlike the rigid crystalline designs of vanguard ships, this vessel seemed to pulse with life. Its hull, a hybrid of living tissue and advanced composites, could heal damage and adapt its configuration in real time. How are the weapon systems progressing? He asked. A new hologram appeared, showing the ship's offensive capabilities. Instead of conventional energy weapons, it used principles derived from biological systems, multiple redundant attack methods, adaptive targeting, and most importantly, the ability to learn and evolve during combat. The vanguard won't recognize these as weapons until it's too late, Sarah Chen noted, joining him on the catwalk. They're looking for technology they understand. This, she gestured at the growing vessel, this is beyond their paradigm. In high orbit, a vanguard observer noted unusual energy readings from Earth's oceans, but dismissed them as primitive underwater vessels. Their containment protocols focused on space-based threats, on technology they recognized. Like their entire civilization, they had become victims of their own certainty. The first prototype vessel, designated HMS Prometheus, was nearly complete. Its neural interface pods waited for their crew, humans who would merge with the ship's systems in ways the vanguard had never imagined possible. The massive biosynthetic engines hummed with potential, ready to demonstrate just how wrong the aliens' assumptions had been. Final integration test commencing, Webb announced. The entire facility held its breath as they initiated full power-up procedures for the first time. The ship's systems came online one by one, each a perfect fusion of organic and synthetic components. Energy flowed through living circuits. Information passed through neural networks that blended human creativity with machine precision. In its core, an AI consciousness awakened, ready to partner with its human crew. "Tell the Defense Council we're ready," Webb ordered. "Operation Phoenix can begin." As the message was sent through secure quantum channels, Webb studied the readouts from Prometheus's systems. The Vanguard thought they were containing a primitive species, preventing it from developing too quickly. Instead, they had created the perfect environment for humanity to develop in entirely new ways. Soon, very soon, they would learn the price of their arrogance, and humanity would teach the galaxy that true advancement came not from separating biology from technology, but from bringing them together in ways even the most advanced species had never dreamed possible. The Silent Forge had done its work. Now it was time to show the galaxy what humanity could really do. The launch of HMS Prometheus was nothing like the Vanguard expected. There were no massive rocket burns, no conventional engine signatures, no traditional space dock emergence. Instead, the ocean itself seemed to part as humanity's answer to containment rose from the depths. Captain Chen sat in her neural interface pod, feeling the ship awaken around her. Unlike the mechanical bridges of traditional vessels, Prometheus's command center was almost organic. Living displays merged seamlessly with synthetic controls, all connected directly to her consciousness. "Neural handshake complete," announced the ship's eye, whom the crew had named Atlas. "All systems integrated. Biosynthetic fusion at optimal levels." Chen opened her enhanced awareness, feeling every part of the massive vessel as if it were her own body. Through the neural network, she could sense her crew doing the same, each connected to their specific systems, but all working in perfect harmony. "Vanguard fleet detecting our emergence," reported Lieutenant Rodriguez. His consciousness merged with the sensor systems. "Their energy signatures are spiking." "They're confused." Chen allowed herself a small smile. Of course they were confused. Prometheus defied everything they believed about technological progression. Its hull, a living lattice of bioengineered tissues and advanced composites, pulsed with patterns that their sensors couldn't classify. "Show them who we are," she ordered. High Observer Kelrax watched in growing alarm as the impossible vessel rose from Earth's oceans. His crystalline form flickered with distress patterns as sensor data poured in. "This cannot be," he declared. Their containment was perfect. They had no access to advanced technology. No species develops like this. The sensor officer, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline matrix, reported with increasing agitation. "The vessel's composition is unclear. It appears to be both organic and synthetic, but merged in ways our database cannot classify. Its energy patterns are constantly shifting." "Impossible," Kelrax repeated. "Send in the containment fleet. Whatever this aberration is, it must be destroyed before it destabilizes the natural order." Chen watched through Prometheus's enhanced sensors as the Vanguard fleet approached. Their massive ships, each one a marvel of pure technological advancement, moved with the same rigid precision she remembered from the Horizon incident. "They haven't learned," she thought to Atlas. "They're still fighting according to their predictable patterns." Confirmed, the AI responded through their neural link. "Their tactical algorithms remain unchanged. They expect us to behave according to their understanding of physics and technology. Let's show them something new. All hands, prepare for combat evolution." The term made perfect sense to her neural-linked crew. Unlike traditional ships that fought with fixed capabilities, Prometheus could adapt during battle, its biosynthetic systems learning and evolving in real time. The Vanguard fleet opened fire, their energy weapons cutting through space in mathematically perfect patterns. But Prometheus moved like no ship they had ever encountered. Its living hull flexed and flowed, absorbing some shots while redirecting others. Where their beams struck, the hybrid material didn't break, it adapted. "They're trying to target our power systems," Rodriguez reported, "but they can't locate them. Our biosynthetic architecture is confusing their targeting algorithms." Chen felt the ship's systems evolving as the battle continued. Each hit, each maneuver, taught them something new. The hull's composition shifted to better handle the Vanguard's energy weapons. The weapon systems adapted their frequencies to more effectively pierce alien shields. "Multiple ships, attempting to surround us," Tactical reported. But Chen wasn't worried. Surrounded was exactly where she wanted to be. "Atlas, initiate pattern sunburst." Prometheus' response would have been impossible for any conventional vessel. The ship's hull suddenly bloomed with dozens of bioorganic energy projectors, each one having evolved from studying the Vanguard's own weapons. But unlike the aliens' rigid energy beams, these weapons pulsed with living light, adapting their attack patterns microsecond by microsecond. The first Vanguard ship didn't even manage to adjust its shields before the hybrid weapons tore through its defenses. The second and third tried to adapt, their crystalline hulls reconfiguring to match the threat. But Prometheus's weapons had already evolved past their countermeasures. "Their formation is breaking," Rodriguez announced with barely contained excitement. Their tactical databases have no response for this type of attack." Through her neural link, Chen felt Prometheus learning, growing, becoming more than the sum of its parts. Each exchange of fire made them stronger. Each attempted counter by the Vanguard provided more data to evolve from. "Send the signal," she ordered. "Let Earth know it's time for Phase 2. In underwater facilities across Earth's oceans, more hybrid ships were reaching completion. Each one different, each one evolved from the lessons learned in designing Prometheus. But they weren't just weapons. They were proof that humanity's path, the integration of biological and synthetic advancement, was not the aberration the Vanguard claimed. As the battle continued in orbit, other species began receiving encrypted quantum transmissions from Earth. The messages contained not threats or demands, but something far more dangerous to the Vanguard's order, proof that there was another way. In his crystalline chamber, Kelrax watched in horror as reports came in of unprecedented movements among the lesser species. The pattern that had held for 10,000 years was unraveling, all because humanity had dared to question the fundamental assumptions of galactic civilization. "Send word to the High Council," he ordered. "The containment has failed. The humans," he paused, his crystalline form clouding with emotion. "The humans are not just advancing. They're evolving. And they're teaching others to do the same." Above Earth, Prometheus continued its dance with the stars, each movement a demonstration of what was possible when artificial barriers between biology and technology were broken down. The ship was more than a vessel, more than a weapon. It was evolution's answer to stagnation, humanity's proof that the greatest advances came not from following established patterns, but from daring to break them entirely. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had intended. The quantum transmission arrived in the dead of night, slipping through the Vanguard's supposedly impenetrable communications network. Dr. Webb studied the message, his eyes widening as he processed its implications. "They're called the Nexus," he explained to the assembled Earth Defense Council. "A species the Vanguard contained 5,000 years ago for developing organic computing. They've been watching us." The holographic display showed images of crystalline worlds hidden in the galactic core. Unlike the rigid structures of Vanguard architecture, these cities pulsed with a combination of synthetic and organic life that looked remarkably familiar. "They weren't destroyed," Captain Chen commented, her neural link to Prometheus providing additional insight. "They went underground, kept developing in secret. Just like us," Webb nodded. "And they're not alone. Across the galaxy, species that had been dismissed, contained, or guided by the Vanguard began emerging from shadows. The Meridians, energy beings who had dared to merge with mechanical systems. The synthoids, artificial intelligences who had chosen to incorporate organic components. Each had been labeled a threat to the Vanguard's ordered evolution of the galaxy. Now they saw humanity as proof that their path had been right all along. In orbit around a binary star system, Prometheus met with representatives of these hidden civilizations. The ship's hybrid nature made it the perfect neutral ground, neither purely organic nor purely synthetic, but a harmonious blend of both. Your victory over their containment fleet has shaken their control. The Meridian Ambassador's energy form pulsed with excitement. For millennia, they claimed their path was the only path. You've proven otherwise. Chen, attending through her neural link, could feel Atlas processing the implications. You've all been developing technologies similar to ours. Similar in philosophy, different in execution. The synthoid representative responded, its partially organic processor core glowing. Each of us found our own way to merge the strengths of biological and synthetic evolution. But we were isolated, convinced we were alone. Until now, Chen finished. Together we can end the Vanguard's suppression of natural evolution. The Nexus Ambassador completed. But we need your help. Your ships, your willingness to stand openly against them. It's inspiring others to emerge. The Vanguard Council Chamber, once a place of absolute certainty, had become a scene of chaos. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy, contained species breaking free, hidden civilizations revealing themselves, centuries of careful control unraveling. The humans must be destroyed, Elder Vex declared, their energy form flickering with rage. Their example is contaminating everything we've built. Our largest fleet failed against a single hybrid vessel, Merrick's reminded them. And now there are more. The holographic displays showed new ships appearing across the galaxy. Some bore Earth's markings, others belonged to the newly emerged alliance. Each one represented a different approach to merging organic and synthetic technologies. Each one proved that the Vanguard's rigid path was not the only way forward. In Earth's underwater shipyards, the next generation of hybrid vessels took shape. Unlike Prometheus, which had been built in secret and under pressure, these ships benefited from collaboration with their new allies. Meridian energy manipulation techniques merged with Nexus organic computing, enhanced by synthoid artificial intelligence developments. The Vanguard's greatest mistake, Webb explained to a group of new neural interface pilots, wasn't trying to contain us. It was believing that evolution, biological, technological, or social, could be controlled and directed. Through her link with Prometheus, Chen watched the new ships growing. Each one was different, an experiment in combining various approaches to biosynthetic integration. The rigid standardization that the Vanguard demanded was replaced by celebrating diversity and adaptation. They're gathering their forces, Rodriguez reported through the neural network. The Vanguard is pulling ships from across the galaxy. They mean to end this with one massive strike. Chen smiled. They still don't understand. Every battle teaches us, changes us. Our ships don't just fight, they evolve. The revolution spread faster than anyone had predicted. Species that had obediently followed the Vanguard's guidance for millennia began questioning, experimenting, combining technologies in ways that had been forbidden. Each success, each breakthrough, inspired more to break free. In a hidden Nexus laboratory, scientists worked alongside human researchers, combining their organic computing with Earth's neural interface technology. Meridian energy specialists taught human engineers how to make their hybrid systems even more efficient. The synthoids shared centuries of experience in balancing artificial and organic consciousness. The Vanguard calls this chaos, Webb observed, watching the collaboration unfold. They don't understand that this is how real growth happens, not through rigid control, but through freedom to explore, to fail, to adapt. Prometheus, now joined by a fleet of equally unique vessels, patrolled the borders of what was becoming known as liberation space. Each ship represented a different path of evolution, a different combination of organic and synthetic advancement. Together, they proved that diversity wasn't a weakness to be contained, but a strength to be celebrated. "They're coming," Chen announced one day, as Prometheus's enhanced sensors detected massive fleet movements. "The Vanguard is committing everything they have. This will be their final attempt to restore their version of order." Through the neural network, she could feel her crew's response. Not fear, but anticipation. They had evolved beyond the primitive species the Vanguard had tried to contain. They had become something new, something that proved the fundamental flaw in the Vanguard's philosophy. "Send word to our allies," she ordered. "Tell them it's time to show the galaxy what real evolution looks like." The message spread through quantum channels, carried by technologies that blended organic and synthetic communications in ways the Vanguard couldn't detect. From hidden worlds and secret bases, ships of all designs and origins began to move, not to preserve chaos, as the Vanguard claimed, but to protect the right of all species to find their own path forward. The final battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin. And this time, humanity wouldn't be fighting alone. The Vanguard homeworld hung in space like a perfect crystal, its surface a geometric pattern of order and control refined over 10,000 years. Now, for the first time in its history, that order faced a real challenge. Prometheus led the combined fleet of liberation forces, a sight that would have been impossible just months ago. Human hybrid ships flew alongside Meridian energy vessels, their formations complemented by Nexus organic cruisers and Synthoid intelligence carriers. Each species brought their own interpretation of biosynthetic integration, creating a force as diverse as it was powerful. Vanguard fleet emerging from hyperspace, Rodriguez reported through the neural network. "They've committed everything. Over 10,000 ships." Through her link with Prometheus, Chen felt Atlas processing the tactical data. The Vanguard fleet was massive, each ship a pinnacle of pure technological advancement. Under normal circumstances, facing such a force would be suicide. But these were not normal circumstances. "All ships, execute Evolution Protocol Omega," she ordered. Across the fleet, hybrid systems that had been learning and adapting through every previous encounter prepared for their greatest test. In the Vanguard Council chamber, now converted into a war room, High Observer Kelrax watched the approaching Liberation fleet with growing unease. Their ships moved in patterns that defied tactical analysis, each one slightly different, each one constantly adapting. "They're not just copies of each other," he realized too late. "They're all unique, all evolving independently." "Impossible," Elder Vex declared. "Such chaos cannot prevail against pure order." But as they watched, the Liberation fleet demonstrated exactly why it could. The battle began with the Vanguard's standard opening move, a massive coordinated energy barrage, designed to overwhelm any possible defense. But the Liberation ships didn't try to defend conventionally. Instead, they executed what Chen had dubbed the evolutionary gambit. Every ship in the Liberation fleet had been sharing data, learning from each other's experiences. Now they'd put those lessons to use. Human hybrid vessels absorbed energy attacks and redirected them to Meridian ships, which transformed the energy into new forms. Nexus organic computers predicted Vanguard tactics microseconds before they executed them. Synthoid vessels processed battle data in real time, feeding strategic updates through the fleet's combined neural network. "They're trying to adapt their tactics," Rodriguez reported with a hint of satisfaction. "But they're limited by their own programming. They can only change so much." Chen felt Prometheus's systems evolving as the battle progressed, becoming more efficient, more effective. Around them, their allies' ships were doing the same, each in their own unique way. Where the Vanguard fleet moved with perfect uniformity, the Liberation forces flowed like a living thing, each part working independently yet in harmony. "Now," Chen commanded, "show them what true evolution looks like." Prometheus initiated the attack sequence they'd developed with their allies. Human hybrid technology provided the framework, enhanced by Meridian energy manipulation, guided by Nexus organic computing, and coordinated through synthoid neural networks. The result was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Vanguard ships, for all their technological superiority, couldn't adapt fast enough. Their perfect formations began to break as they faced weapons and tactics that evolved mid-battle. Their standardized responses proved useless against attacks that never repeated in quite the same way. Their flagship is isolated, Rodriguez announced. The pattern is breaking. Through the neural link, Chen felt the tide of battle shifting. The Vanguard fleet, trained to fight as one perfect unit, was falling apart as each ship faced unique challenges it couldn't categorize or counter. On the Vanguard homeworld, Kelrax watched his civilization's carefully maintained order crumbling. "Stop," he transmitted on all frequencies. This chaos you're creating will destroy everything we've built." "No," Chen responded. Her voice carried through channels that merged organic and synthetic communications. "It will allow something new to grow, something better." Prometheus and its allies pressed their advantage, not to destroy but to demonstrate. Each engagement showed the Vanguard a different possibility, a different path of advancement they had never considered. "Look at what you're fighting against," Chen continued. "Not chaos, but diversity. Not disorder, but evolution. Every species you try to contain had the potential to find their own way forward. Together, we're stronger than any single path of advancement could ever be." The battle ended not with the destruction of the Vanguard fleet, but with something far more powerful: understanding. One by one, Vanguard ships began standing down as their crews saw the truth. Their way wasn't the only way. Perhaps it had never been the best way. In the aftermath, representatives from all species gathered on Prometheus, a symbolic choice that represented the bridge between different paths of advancement. The ship that had started as humanity's response to containment had become proof that diversity and cooperation yielded greater results than rigid control. "The Vanguard Council is dissolved," Kelrax announced, his crystalline form showing signs of organic integration, the beginning of his own species' evolution. "In its place, we propose the Galactic Evolution Council, where all paths of advancement are respected and studied." Webb, attending through holographic projection, smiled. "And what of Earth's containment?" "Containment," the former High Observer replied, "was our greatest mistake. We sought to prevent chaos by controlling evolution. Instead, we nearly stopped it entirely. Humanity showed us that true advancement comes not from following a single path, but from having the freedom to explore all possibilities." Years later, Chen stood on Prometheus's bridge, watching ships of all designs and origins moving through the space lanes around Earth. The vessel had been modified countless times, each change incorporating new discoveries, new combinations of organic and synthetic technology. "To think they wanted to contain us," she mused to Atlas, their neural link now so refined it was like talking to herself. "To stop us from developing too fast or wrong." "They didn't understand that evolution can't be contained," the AI replied. "It can only be embraced." Below them, Earth had become a center of galactic research and development. Species from across the galaxy came to study different approaches to advancement, each finding their own balance between organic and synthetic evolution. The rigid uniformity of the Vanguard era had been replaced by a celebration of diversity and innovation. Prometheus's sensors detected a new ship approaching, its design unlike anything they'd seen before. Another species had found another path, another way to combine the seemingly incompatible. Another proof that the galaxy's greatest strength lay not in enforced order, but in the beautiful complexity of unrestricted evolution. The price of underestimating humanity had been the Vanguard's entire worldview, but what they had lost in control, the galaxy had gained in potential. The future was no longer a single path to be followed, but an infinite series of possibilities to be explored. And humanity, once dismissed as primitive, had helped show the way.